We're live.
Yes, I want to ensure the live stream is ready to go, and once that is done, I've demoted the people who need to be, and then once we have that, I will give you the heads up.
What is wrong? So we're live, executive committee?
Not yet. Give it just a moment.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
I told him I believe he did. I did. And we are up on the line.
Are you recording? So were you on the board?
Hey, Catherine.
Yes?
Catherine. Do we still need to keep our office open to the public?
I believe so. Well, no, at this point now it's turned into the meeting, so
Web
no.
only?
Yeah, so since we're now in the regular meeting, no.
You can do it as that way.
Or you could ask the members of the public to sit up at the table. Yeah, we're gonna sit up at the table. Let me do that. You hoping all of you can sit at the table? Okay. Yeah. We need to move this back.
I got it.
Settled in.
This way.
Well, no, you're right.
Tilt it this way. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you.
Yeah, go up to the table, please, and that way you'll be able to see the screen.
Got good now, Dave?
Yeah, looks fine. Where's Stacy at?
Stacy's here. Yeah. Come around. She's a trouble.
No, actually, I figured it out, most of it out for myself. The general fund is staying at, is it 500-something thousand? To the Wildfire relief?
Oh, wow. Total is.
And that's from the state general fund, they get reimbursed.
Sometimes.
But you're not qualified as a problem for ours. Yeah.
That was the first one right there?
So Stacy, total would be 1.something million?
I thought we were.
639 total. So it's
Oh, okay.
How long before we start the meeting?
Okay.
Since you're here, do you mind if I call it in? Well, he had, I don't think of his son or something. He said he would be here at 8:50. But we're okay if he doesn't, I guess. I know the list. I'm prepared. They only have 4 board members. All right.
Everyone in the room, Robin Williams is heading downstairs, and then we should be able to start the meeting.
We could start without Robin. So do we have, is all 4 committee members here? I see Alan, we're missing Miss Love. I don't see Galarza. Miguel, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Can we somehow fix this so I can see the other committee members? Yeah, let me take off the public comment. Well, they're gonna need that for the slideshow, right?
For the show.
For the public, is this just our look?
All right, we'll bear with this. Okay. Diana, are you here? I don't see you. Diana is not here yet.
She's still showing that she's on. I'm just not seeing her at the moment.
Maybe she just went to the restroom real quick. So we have a quorum of 3 out of 4, correct? 3 out of 4 committee members, we have a quorum, we can start. Okay, we'll start when Diana comes in. So let's start the meeting. Catherine, please.
Yes, we can start.
It's live.
Yes.
Okay, good morning. The time is 8:47. I call the order the April 11th meeting of the Executive Committee of the Contractor State License Board. My name is Michael Mark. I am our chair of the board and of the Executive Committee. Please note that only board members who are members of the Executive Committee may participate in the committee meeting. Members of the Executive Committee include Vice Chair Miguel Galarza, Board Secretary Alan Guy, past Chair Diana Love, and myself. Other board members who are in attendance may observe but cannot ask questions or participate in the discussion. Today's meeting will provide the committee some updates on important executive division strategic plan items and priorities. Because this teleconference committee meeting is fully remote, committee members cannot make recommendations or motions. However, committee members can gather information, receive comments, and discuss among themselves what will be included in the summary report of this meeting. And that will be available to the full board at the June board meeting. Committee members, we will be using cameras during this hybrid meeting. Please have your camera on for the entirety of this meeting. When you would like to comment during the meeting, please select the raise your hand icon in the WebEx application. Our moderator will call on committee members to speak. When called upon, please unmute yourself, and when finished, return to mute. With that, Robin, thank you for joining us. Can you please call and confirm we have a quorum?
Michael Mark,
Here.
Miguel Galarza.
Here.
Alan Guy. I see him.
Alan Guy, is your microphone working?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We got you now.
And Diana Love.
She just stopped back down.
There she is. Diana Love, are you present?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, with that, please turn to the next slide. At this time, I ask everyone to please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Contractor State License Board staff participating in today's meeting include Registrar David Foat, Interim Chief Deputy Registrar Cindy Kanemoto, Licensing Chief Carol Gagnon, Enforcement Chief Steve Grove is not present. Chief of Legislation Rebecca May, not present. Executive Special Projects Personnel Mike Jaminski, and Executive Office Staff Robin Williams, who will be taking role. Public Affairs Chief Catherine White is offsite moderating this WebEx meeting. We also have Stacy and Tracy Zill. Thank you. In addition, we are fortunate to have DCEA Board Counsel John Kent. Go to slide 3, please. Next up is agenda item B, our public comment section. This item is provided for public comment pertaining to items not on the agenda. To allow this committee enough time to conduct its full schedule of business, I will be limiting public comments to 3 minutes apiece. Please note that state law prohibits committee members from discussing any matters brought up during public comment. We are also not allowed to act on any item not on the agenda. If you want the committee to discuss a topic not on the agenda, you can ask us to consider placing this item on the agenda at a future meeting. If you have an application, a complaint, or disciplinary charges pending before the board, we ask that you not discuss the details of your case or pending complaint. Committee members are not permitted to receive evidence or information that is not part of the administrative record in the case. If your comments are related to a specific agenda item, you can make your comments now, but you may want to wait until that item comes up for discussion. We ask for public comment before acting on any item. Public Affairs Chief Catherine White is our host and moderator today. She will be assisting us in monitoring public comment. Members of the public, when you would like to comment at any time during the meeting, please select the raise hand icon in the WebEx application or leave a message in the chat feature. With that, do any of the committee members have an item they would like to place on a future meeting agenda? With that, no. Is there any public comment?
Yes, we have two people who have their hands raised. I will call on Andrea Montano and send her a request to unmute. You should be unmuted now.
For allowing me to speak today. My name's Andrea Montano, and I'm here as an advocate representing a group of folks that were scammed by a local contractor. And I met with the CSLB earlier this week with some folks that are here on the call. And I just want to express my thank you for the time that we were able to spend together. Most of the conversation we talked about was around the emphasis and need of a comprehensive construction industry protection framework. And I want to just highlight a couple of items that are not on the agenda this morning, specifically around components regarding emergency mass fraud response protocols, catastrophic fraud recovery fund, and financial hardship triage system. These notes were sent back to a couple of folks here that are present in the meeting, and I would love to share that with the rest of the participants that are members here for the executive committee. And my purpose of sharing this information is really to try to address some immediate needs for mass fraud victims experiencing severe financial hardship. And our highest priority recommendation is to establish an emergency mass fraud response protocol, a protocol that could include financial hardship triage systems to rapidly identify victims at risk for losing homes or businesses, and a catastrophic fund recovery fund for providing emergency relief through potentially bridge loans secured against future recoveries. And this could potentially be something CSLB could help with, measuring through, executive action while pursuing legislative authorization. And so in light of some recent events, we thought that this is something that we can just kind of plant the seed here for families who are facing foreclosures and subcontractors at risk of business failure, and just directing some immediate resources that could potentially prevent some of these catastrophic outcomes. So I just wanted to share that with you today, and I hope that's something that we can discuss further in more detail, but thought this committee would be an appropriate place to share some of those thoughts here. Thank you very much. That's all that I have.
Thank you for your comments, and appreciate you meeting with the board. I just heard from registered folk that will schedule another meeting with you as well. Catherine, is there any other comment on WebEx?
Yes, there is a call-in user 4 has their hand raised, so I will be sending them a request to unmute.
Hi, my name is Cameron Guglielmelli. I'm a plumber, and I am going down to the Los Angeles area when it's appropriate to help with what would appear to me to be overwhelming amount of work to be done, not only by the trades down there, but also by the city and county inspectors. I was just wanted to make a recommendation that possibly you could have like a community service inspector for overwhelming inspection requests, so that some of the trades could come in and pre-inspect the work for the inspectors so that they can overlook the things that, you know, once they get to the job, they can maximize their efficiency on the job to expedite as many possible inspections as possible. And it would be a test that the CSLB would, you know, regulate with maybe the unions or some of the trade groups that would give people residential inspection capabilities to just pre-inspect, commercial pre-inspection to help offset the overload that they're going to feel and the delay that would come with the understaffing and overwhelming responses to the need for inspections. So it's something that I thought of while I was working, and I thought maybe I'd pass that on to you guys. Hopefully it's something that you could look into. And it seems to me that I went down, I was going to go down there with the intention of being an inspector, but the process is protracted. But if you just had a single tradesman go into a job and do all the pre-qualification checklist things, put it on the inspector's email or, you know, some kind of communication, and then he could go to the website, he could go to the job site and see that the majority of the work was done, you know, that wouldn't mandate him spend an extensive amount of time there. So that was my thought. Hope that helps. If not, well, that's all I got.
Well, thank you for your comment. Obviously, inspections is not in the purview of the CSLB, but it's always good to have comments. With that, is there any other public comment? Catherine?
There's no other public comment at this time.
On WebEx. Any public comment for anybody in the room? Looking like there's no public comment for anyone in the room. I forgot to mention, we should also recognize we have Brian Clifford here from ECA Board and Bureau of Relations. With that, we will move on. There's no comments on WebEx. There's no comments in the room in public in Sacramento. Next item, agenda C. Next slide, please. We are now moving to agenda item C. The agenda item is to update members of the committee about significant IT division projects. And the agenda item C is review and discussion regarding IT technology 2-year projects. The first is regarding the monumental project to fully automate online the CSLB license application for sole owner contractors. As most of you know, former IT Chief Jason Perez accepted a promotion at the California Department of Technology. In his absence, we are fortunate to have with us IT managers Mike Collins and Raja Saul. I apologize, I know I butchered it a little bit. Mike and Raju, please provide an update on the sole owner online application status. I don't know if you guys want to do one at a time. I guess I'll say here, the sole owner online application status first. Who wants to go for update?
Good morning. I am Mike Collins, and I'm excited to share an update on our projects. So in partnership with SimplyGov, we are in the process of automating our original contractor license, original application for original contractor license, and we'll be automating that so that it can be submitted online. So the initial development's in progress, and it will be focused on sole ownership in business entities. Applications. SimplyGov, a little bit about them. SimplyGov is developing an interactive interview style process, similar to what you would see with TurboTax, H&R Block Tax software, where you're guided through, you'll be guided through the application with questions based on your response. It will guide you through the process from beginning to end. Applicants will be able to upload their documentation directly into the SimplyGov platform application, and their work experience will be verified electronically. We're very excited about that. This digital process will also acquire all signatures online, get e-signatures, and will take care of online payments for the fees that they owe. So everything will be automated online. This experience will increase workload efficiency by ensuring that CSLB receives a completed application and reduces the need for CSLB staff to request the correction of missing information, difficult to read handwriting, or missing signatures. That way we can have a complete application that's received and will save time having to get additional information. Applicants will be able to submit their application from the comfort of their home or office or any location versus having to complete forms manually and having to either mail it or visit the CSLB headquarters. We anticipate the initial phase to roll out later this year, summer 2025. And with your support, this will be the first step in our vision for CSLB applications going forward. After this, we're looking to build our back office dashboard and workflow for our internal staff, so they'll be able to view, modify, process applications in the SimplyGov platform. The online submissions of our other entity types, corporations, partnerships, LLCs, and joint venture applications. And then we'll be looking to move forward with all our other applications, getting those within the SimplyGov platform and being able to be filled out and submitted online. And also going forward, we'll be looking at the electronic renewal notifications, getting that within the SimplyGov platform so we can send out notifications electronically, get their renewal, and they can submit and pay their renewal online. So very exciting. Looking forward to this for the next foreseeable future, and we appreciate your support. If you don't have any questions, I'll hand it over to you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mike. Great report. Is there any questions from any of the committee members? Seeing, I guess I have a question. How with this, once this actually comes in play, how much quicker will applications? Maybe this may be for Carol, or is there a timeline, or like 2 minutes quicker, 3 minutes quicker? Like, what's the thoughts?
We're not entirely sure, and the reason is because they're building the front end, so for the applicant, it's gonna be much quicker, because they're gonna go in, they're gonna type it all in, they're gonna be able to pay online, they're gonna be able to do all this online. On our side, the back end part is in the phase 2, and hasn't been built yet.
Okay.
So a lot of our processing is still going to be manual,
Yeah.
but the fact that everything's gonna have to be signed, that it will have to be paid for, that they'll have to have the right amount, is gonna save us time in the long run, because we're not gonna have to go back and say, you forgot to sign your application, please sign this and send it back to us. That will save us time.
Great. Yeah, thank you for the update.
Thank you, Mike.
Any other questions? No? Okay. So I'm assuming we're gonna move to the Enterprise Document Management System next, right? Which is the new name staff have given for the platform that will manage all licensing documents for the board. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mike. So my name's Raju Shah. I'm here to give you an update, current status, as well as future plans for EDMS, commonly known as now Enterprise Document Management System. So CSLB has developed this cloud-based solution now to replace our existing imaging and workflow system, we're commonly known as IWAS, to this new platform. The replacement system, from a timeline perspective, is ready to go live actually into this month, and we're like super excited to see that happening. We have been working, as far as IT, working with other divisions, including Carol's team, licensing, and IWAS, and enforcement team as well, and other divisions, to thoroughly test this system. So make sure that we do any bug fixes, etc. Go back to the vendor, work with them, and happy to report that it's going extremely well. And in fact, we have testing along with training going on currently right now with all of the different staff out there. And so far from slicing management, the feedback I've gotten is they're super, super excited to see this go live, which I feel very fortunate because changing technologies and systems, something that we've had over a decade, I feel like, and that was, figured would be a little bit of a challenge, but everybody has been very open and working collaboratively with us in IT. So very excited about that. Some of the future plans for the system also include just additional cost savings to the board as well as state of California. We're fortunate to negotiate a one price for unlimited storage on this platform. So recognizing that currently we have a lot of file shares with lots of data and documents out there, giving us an opportunity to do some cleanup, get those stored on the single platform where we could store, retrieve, search. So we'll have better abilities than we have today and actually realize cost savings as well. Secondly, I would say in our strategic effort to go in paperless, excuse me, as well, wherever feasible, would like to go ahead and take the data or files coming in either through email attachments, by mail, any of the online submission portals, etc. we have. Let's get those stored on this one common platform. Once again, it's one price for all, so might as well go there. We could do much better reporting. We could actually have timestamps so when things start coming into the board as an example. So if we need to do further investigation on something, or look into things, we could do that. And also helps us become more paperless as well and utilize this this online platform. Also, if there's any business process flows, we could do that as well, as similar to what we've been doing with iWAS. Also, I would say also it's going to help us further reduce our carbon footprint as well. We have lots of hard copy documents at the board right now currently, and wherever feasible, we could scan them into our system. Get them into readable PDF, where once again, we can make them searchable, stored in one platform, do any sort of reporting as well on it. And so that'll be a huge benefit, I feel like, for the board and the state. Furthermore, we could utilize this platform to modernize our enforcement modernization effort as well. With this cloud-based solution, I know we share data currently with the district attorney's office, consumers, and other state agencies. We will be able to securely share that data with them, and then continually, again, having better ability to store, search, and retrieve the data, run reports, etc. on it, and further kind of enhancing our ability that we have currently today. And also at the same time, we're realizing cost savings again because we're not paying anything extra for it. So also the other plans are to integrate with other systems that we have on our board, including what Mike said with the Simply Gov system, along with any other systems coming down the line. We want to integrate and make sure we can share data between the platforms and have one common online storage platform. I'll conclude there. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any questions from board committee members? Seeing none. Okay, the last one, who's taking that one? Enforcement modernization.
That's what I kind of talked about at the same time.
I know we're talking about a lot of the files, but I wasn't sure if it was actually.
I didn't combine the two just to kind of save us a little time as well.
I know Steve Grove wasn't here. I thought he was maybe going to jump in too. Okay,
Yeah.
So obviously, all of these for our executive committee members. For our executive committee members, all of this is our strategic goal 5.3, which we're a little bit ahead on schedule. You know, the due date was October 2026, Q1. Explore and implement process efficiencies to reduce processing times and licensing and enforcement and to increase transparency. So all of these three things really hit on our strategic goal that we just came up with. So I really appreciate all the staff's hard work on making sure that we had, as a board, we set the strategic goals, and you're helping to implement that. So we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there any items, any comments from the public on on item C?
Yes, there is. Andrea Montano has raised her hand. I'll be sending her a request to unmute.
Thank you again, Catherine, and thanks again for allowing me to speak. I'll apologize in advance because some of these items that I'll bring up may sound redundant, but I'm trying to kind of pin them to some of the items that you mentioned. And so when I'm looking at some of the priority framework components that we presented in Tuesday as it pertains to IT, I think that some cross-jurisdictional enforcement task force technology needs, I think that is part of your enforcement modernization plan. So that's actually really great to see that that is part of this. If there could be some consideration for early warning systems for data integration capabilities and architectural certification digital verification systems. And so as an example, as you plan these IT projects, I just want to recommend integrating some key technology components specifically on your IT roadmap to include a financial hardship triage database that could allow real-time identification and tracking of severe hardship cases resulting in emergency intervention, cross-agency data sharing capabilities to support a cross-jurisdictional enforcement task force that could enable efficient collaboration with those district attorneys, as well as a digital verification systems for architectural certifications that could potentially prevent payment phase fraud, as we see a lot of the fraud contractors are collecting more than $1,000 or 10% upfront. And in the meeting that was shared that there's about 70 folks in investigations and also 30 analysts. We've seen a huge wave of mass fraud that has occurred. And I know that they're going through the BCP process to bring on potentially 5+ more PYs, which I think is great. Sometimes throwing resources, there's a ramp up strategy that's needed, right, for training and procurement. And so IT can really kind of facilitate some of those things long term, especially as the ADU contractor world is growing. And I can see that payment data existing in these systems that could potentially could have been shared promptly with local prosecutors and not delay enforcement activities while victims face financial ruin. An integrated system would also allow immediate identification of patterns and activities that could coordinate that response. And so I just want to recommend allocating some IT resources potentially on the roadmap, as you can, for those critical components that could potentially directly prevent catastrophic outcomes for fraud victims. And so that's just my recommendation there, is just to kind of see some overlay activities where we can catch some patterns of behavior early on. That would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comment. And I know this is not our enforcement committee, but there is a strategic goal for enforcement where it's like assess the need for additional resources and address unlicensed activity. So that kind of fits in with that. I think as we come up with our plan for the next strategic goal year, some of those items we could probably think about and see if the board wants to implement. So I appreciate your public comment there. Is there any other public comment?
No other public comment at this time.
Okay, any other board comment? Seeing none, thank you again, and we will move on to agenda item D. So next slide, please. We are now moving to agenda item D, staff training update. I understand we have a video to display for this item. Before we do that, I'll turn it over to Intern Chief Deputy Registrar Cindy Kanemoto to provide us an introduction to this item.
Thank you and good morning. It's really my pleasure to be back at CSLB, assisting David as the Interim Chief Deputy Registrar. And as you know, one of our values at CSLB is supporting a team concept and the professional development of staff. And I'd like to report on the progress CSLB is making as it pertains to both onboarding and training our employees. This is also one of my passions as a former training manager for various state departments, including the Department of Consumer Affairs. We want to show you our onboarding video, which helps new employees understand the role of CSLB and each of the divisions and units. So let's take a look. So if we could show the video.
Welcome to the Contractor State License Board, or CSLB, one of the nation's leading consumer protection agencies. CSLB is part of the Department of Consumer Affairs and is responsible for licensing contractors in California and enforcing contractor state license law. This video will give you a brief organizational overview of CSLB and the important work we do to regulate the construction industry and protect consumers. CSLB is made up of a 15-member board, a registrar of contractors or executive officer, and 5 divisions that each play a vital role in fulfilling our consumer protection mission. The governor and state legislature appoint the 15 board members. These include 10 members who represent the public and 5 members who represent aspects of the construction industry. Of these board members, 1 member represents labor, 1 is a building official, and 1 represents a senior citizen organization. The board appoints the registrar and meets quarterly to make decisions about CSLB's administrative policy and to help manage its $70 million annual budget. Unlike many state departments, CSLB does not receive general state fund allocations, but relies mainly on fees from new contractor license applications, license renewals, and license modifications for its funding. You can find a list of CSLB board members and their bios on our website. CSLB has over 400 employees who work at its Sacramento headquarters and field offices throughout California. These offices work together to serve consumers, applicants, and licensees around the state. Staff at CSLB work in one of the 5 divisions: the Executive Division, Licensing and Testing, Enforcement, Administration, and Information Technology. The Registrar and Chief Deputy Registrar lead the organization and implement board-directed policy. There are almost 300,000 licensed contractors in California. Anyone hired to do construction work that costs $500 or more in labor and/or materials must have a state-issued license. CSLB issues licenses for general contractors who build homes and oversee major home renovations, contractors who build things like bridges and roads, and specialty trades such as electricians, landscapers, and roofers. Each trade is considered a classification. People who want a contractor license must first submit an application. Then, once that's approved, they must pass a law and business exam as well as a specific trade exam, unless they qualify for an exam waiver. Licensing staff process all license applications. Part of the application process involves a criminal background check, verification of required work experience, and complying with bond and insurance requirements. Licensing staff also process applications for those registering as home improvement salespersons. A home improvement salesperson, or HIS, is employed by a licensed contractor to negotiate, sell, or execute home construction contracts. CSLB has approximately 22,000 active HIS registrants. In addition, licensing staff handle any requests to change something on a license, from the business address to adding another classification. They also process all license renewals. Additionally, there's testing, which oversees the development and administration of CSLB's exams at 20 PSI exam center locations. CSLB receives approximately 1,700 new license applications and 10,000 renewals per month. While more and more services can be completed online, the majority of these applications and renewals are delivered to CSLB's cashiers unit in Sacramento. There, cashier staff process all payments submitted to CSLB, properly code them, and then route paper documents to be scanned electronically into document reading software called IWAS, and CSLB's digital licensee database and management system, TEAL. With so much of CSLB's work dependent on functioning and updated computer equipment and software, the Information Technology Division is crucial to CSLB's success. IT staff oversee the installation and maintenance of computer equipment, software, and a secure network system. IT staff also help maintain content on the internal and external websites. They're also available to assist CSLB employees with many technical problems, like not being able to connect to the internet, problems sending or receiving email, and other software-related or computer equipment issues. All of CSLB's IT staff are based in Sacramento, but they're still available to assist staff in offices throughout the state. Fortunately, most of California's licensed contractors comply with the state's licensing requirements and regulations. However, when CSLB does receive a complaint about either a licensed or unlicensed contractor, it's handled by the Enforcement Division, which has field offices around the state. CSLB responds to about 20,000 complaints each year. CSLB has more jurisdiction in cases against licensed contractors than unlicensed contractors, and first tries to mediate the disagreement over the phone. If that's not successful, the complaint can be forwarded for further investigation. Depending on the issues involved, the available evidence, and the complexity of the case, CSLB may recommend arbitration, or a contractor may need to fix or complete work, may receive a citation, may be required to pay restitution to a customer, or may be referred for criminal prosecution. Addressing those who contract without a license is a top priority for CSLB's Enforcement Division. The statewide investigative fraud team, more commonly referred to as SWIFT, leads the board's efforts in this area and conducts undercover stings to help reduce illegal contracting. SWIFT also works with other state agencies to conduct compliance sweeps of active construction sites. In addition to its staff at CSLB headquarters, SWIFT has field offices throughout the state. While CSLB's Enforcement Division works to minimize illegal contracting and help the construction industry run smoothly, CSLB's administration staff perform a wide range of activities essential to helping the board run smoothly and efficiently. The Personnel Unit serves as a liaison between CSLB staff and the Human Resources section at the Department of Consumer Affairs, handles employee hires and separations, and all health and safety activities. Personnel staff also provide training and information on career advancement. Personnel staff work at CSLB headquarters in Sacramento, but provide services and information for staff at all CSLB office locations. Check with your supervisor to find out which personnel specialist is assigned to your unit. Another unit under the Administration Division is Business Services, which oversees procurement of non-IT items and services, development, preparation, and execution of a variety of contracts, facilities-related issues, CSLB's fleet of vehicles, inventory, records management, processing invoices, and emergency preparedness. Business Services also manages employee travel and training. CSLB warehouse staff store and distribute office supplies and publications, manage department recycling, and assist with room configuration for meetings and other board events at Sacramento headquarters. And CSLB mailroom staff are responsible for ensuring that all incoming mail is received, sorted, and delivered to the correct individual or unit. They also package outgoing mail. CSLB's Executive Division encompasses the Registrar, the Chief Deputy Registrar, and their support staff. The Public Affairs, Legislative, and Budget offices are also part of the Executive Division. The Registrar and Chief Deputy Registrar work closely with the 15-member board to set policies. They work closely with industry, associations, and consumer advocacy groups to improve and clarify programs and processes. They also prepare executive-level reports such as the Sunset Review Report and testify before the legislature at various hearings. In addition, they work closely with the department and other state agencies on interrelated policy matters and joint task forces. And they oversee the work of all divisions, including implementation of new laws and rules. Public Affairs oversees CSLB's media and outreach. This includes responding to press inquiries, managing CSLB's social media presence, conducting outreach to potential applicants and licensees about industry-related topics, producing videos, and overseeing CSLB's publications. The Public Affairs Office also offers consumer outreach programs about the importance of hiring a licensed contractor, how to avoid being scammed, and tips for rebuilding after a disaster. CSLB's public counter staff assist consumers who come to the office, answer licensing-related questions, and accept licensing documents such as bonds, workers' compensation, and renewals. They also handle all cash payments. CSLB's call center, where staff answer the board's 800 number and provide information for consumers, applicants, and licensees, is also part of the Public Affairs Office. Public Affairs staff work closely with other CSLB units to stay current on
It's like, it has like 2 minutes left.
Yeah, can run it through.
You can? Okay.
Sure.
I see the
Sorry.
thing on the bottom.
See if she can bring it back to that spot. Yeah.
Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here. I guess what we'll do, we'll move on. Apologize for the video getting short there. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
Cindy.
Okay,
You have anything
so-
else?
Diana's got her hand up.
Oh, Diana?
Yes, Diana.
I have a couple of questions. Is that a new video being recognized?
No, it's an older video of our onboarding video. So it was done in 2022. There were some items that need to be corrected. One of them being for the $500 is now
Right.
$1,000. So it was just to show the board members who haven't seen the video. That was the purpose.
And that's an onboarding for staff
New
that come
employee.
aboard?
Yes, this is just for new employees.
Okay.
So currently, we're looking at revamping our onboarding process. And this is a video that we will be updating, and we will be making that available to all new employees so that they can become familiar with all of our divisions and all the activities that we do here at CSLB. So for a brand new employee, it's very beneficial for them to be able to watch a video of that type to become familiar with everything. So that's the purpose of the video, and it is truly just internal. It's not an external video. So we will be updating the couple of items that need to be updated on that. But we really are excited that we have something that we can share with employees when they first, log on as a new employee here at CSLB. The other thing that we've been doing is really working to engage our staff more internally. We have what's called the CSLB intranet site that we have been working to direct staff to. And if we can show the slide of the intranet site.
Before you do that, I just want to complete my statement. I would like to make a suggestion that video, once it's updated, is also onboarding for board members to give them an overview about what CSLB does. It's an excellent, I thought it was a very excellent video, long, but maybe we can do also a shorter version that we can put on our website to educate our viewers that come on to learn about CSLB as well.
Thank you. Yeah, those are great suggestions. Yeah, that's definitely something we can take a look at and do. And yeah, it is long. It's 12 minutes. But for a brand new employee that's sitting there and trying to learn about the department, I think it suffices for that. We might want a shorter one for board members or for the public. But yeah, thank you for that, Diane. Any other questions about the video before I move on?
Yes.
Miguel, go ahead, Miguel.
Thank you. I would concur with Ms. Love's comment, and yeah, it was actually well written, well moderated, and provided, quite frankly, a lot of great information for the public. So it was well done. Well done.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think I also agree that they did a great job putting that together. But moving on, if there aren't any other questions on the video? No? Okay, so let's go to the next slide. You can see here, we've partnered with the Department of Consumer Affairs Training Unit, SOLID, to utilize their learning management system. And so when a new employee comes on, they'll receive an email from SOLID, which will direct them to their training page that's specific for them. And it's kind of hard to see, but that onboarding video is on this page and specific, all the classes that they need to take and classes that we identify for them to take as a new employee will be on this portal, and it will provide a one-stop shop for them for getting their training done, as well as having one centralized location to track all of their training. So that's part of an exciting new venture that we've kind of entered into with them. And it's a great resource for our employees. So if I can go to the next slide. That one. So this is just a screenshot of our CSLB training calendar. And we are putting all of the training that we recommend for our employees on this site. It's on our intranet site. We've also done a really good job of notifying employees now regularly of the types of training that we are encouraging them to obtain. The big long purple line there is our Enforcement Academy, which is currently taking place as we speak in Southern California. So that is another great training that we have internally. So we're really trying hard to make sure that we're giving our employees the tools they need to be successful in the work that they do here. So this training calendar, I think, has been very beneficial. You can't see it, but if they hover on any of those classes, it will give them a description of what the class is. The other thing that we're doing is our Chief of Administration has just recently put together a career development and mentoring program, and we have members of that who we will be meeting with the end of this month, and that they will assist us in identifying core training for all of the employees. So we're excited to really get this training development off and going. We're also working with our enforcement unit to make sure that enforcement has all of the training that they need and developing more training opportunities for them. So that concludes my presentation on the training and meeting. Basically, we're looking at strategic goal 5.2 when we're looking at this. So doing a lot of work and progress in that arena. Any other questions?
Thank you, Cindy. And the strategic goal is to reinstate the training unit to improve new employee onboarding and provide formal structured training for all employees. So great work. You know, again, we have a vision from the board, and then how do we actually implement the vision, and appreciate staff for doing that. Is there any other specific board member comments on agenda item D? Okay. Any other comment from the public, Catherine?
No public comment at this time.
Okay, move on to the next slide, agenda item E. Los Angeles County Wildfire Outreach Education and Enforcement Update. We're now moving on to item E. I know that CSLB staff in every division has been working hard to prioritize the services provided to licensees and to the public affected by wildfires. For this update, I'll turn it over to Registrar David Folk.
Thank you, Chair Mark. It's my pleasure to highlight some of staff's achievements as it relates to the education, outreach, and enforcement in the declared disaster areas. I'm going to begin with the disaster recovery centers. Since January 14th, we've had SWIFT investigators, and SWIFT is our proactive enforcement unit. They have staffed 2 DRCs 7 days a week. Up until about 2.5 weeks ago, we were able to downsize to only having 1 investigator present at the DRCs. We do have our education material in Spanish, with the exception, I guess, of one brochure about putting a contract together, and we're in the process of obtaining additional copies in Spanish for those DRCs. We are performing and conducting sweeps in the burn area. We're partnering with the Department of Insurance and EDD. We're performing those sweeps. Steve Grove, our enforcement chief here, I think we're doing 2 a week in each of the fires.
That's correct.
Palisades and Eaton Fire.
Correct.
So it's a real concerted effort. We did have a meeting yesterday. Thank you, Steve, for putting that together, where we touched base with the supervisor and manager that were overseeing that effort. And it was kind of interesting to learn that a lot of the complaints we're receiving, either we're identifying this to the sweep or we're receiving a lead, they're relating to incorrect bagging of hazardous material. We've got contractors out there that don't have the hazardous material certification. And this relates to the debris removal. Right now, the focus is really on ensuring that the debris removal is done safely and confidently, and consumers are not being harmed in the process. Many of the workers they lack safety equipment, so real concern. We've heard that we have contractors claiming that the workers are independent contractors. It doesn't work that way in California. If somebody's performing construction, they either have to be licensed themselves or they have to be an employee of the contractor. So listen, there's an owner-builder exception, but if you're working for somebody else, you can't claim unlicensed people or independent contractors. It doesn't work. The argument, the concern is they're doing that so they don't have to provide the safety equipment. So fortunately, Steve Grove and the enforcement team have set up a interagency agreement with Cal OSHA. So when we have unsafe conditions, they can refer that to Cal OSHA. I understand they're doing that in a batch program. And within the next couple of weeks, we anticipate Cal OES doing a ride along with our SWIFT investigators to get some background footage that can be used for our videos and outreach. Moving on to webinars, I had the pleasure of working with Assemblymember Jackie Irwin last week on a webinar. It included LA City and county officials. Focused a lot on the rebuild, touched a little bit on the debris removal, but the permitting process, contract requirements, how consumers can protect themselves with the rebuild. And we had over 65 attendees with that webinar. I'll be speaking on April 17th with Assemblymember John Harabedian, a rebuild webinar. Looking forward to that. And then CSLB will be conducting its own webinar April 22nd. So planning that for April 22nd. It's going to be focused on debris removal because, again, we're not seeing a lot of rebuilding starting. I know we've heard that there's 2 permits issued for the rebuild. Maybe there's more. But right now it's on the debris removal. As you're probably all aware, a wildfire survivor can opt into the government program or they can opt to do it themselves, hiring their own contractor. And so it's our understanding that the government program is working extremely well, but where we have a concern is where they've opted out. They've opted out. We want to make sure that the contractor that is doing the work is properly classified, has the knowledge and the training, and their employees have completed the 40-hour HAZWOP course so they can do the debris removal safely. Also, our enforcement staff have confirmed that they recently met with the LA District Attorney's Office, and the LA District Attorney is committed to prosecuting unlicensed practice, but also where the fraudulent activity. And I just want to make sure I mentioned here this morning that the real focus is going to be on making sure that these contractors that are doing the debris removal of the rebuild are not front-loading the contract. So as a reminder, it's a $1,000 deposit. You don't get progress payments unless they are equivalent to the work that's been performed. Very important. On March 29th, we had our statewide program manager, Jerry Hassan, he oversees our case management program, and a supervisor, Renee Blackshire, that attended a conference in LA. It was put on by, it was called the Sentinel Wildfire Recovery and Rebuild Conference. Had over 600 people there. The Lieutenant Governor was in attendance. We had our housing, Business Consumer Service and Housing Agency Secretary, Tamika Moss, also in attendance. And the word is they did a phenomenal job. I appreciate them working on a Saturday to attend that and present at that conference. We are updating our rebuilding video, and we expect that to be released Monday. I had the privilege of working with Director Kim Kirkmeyer and Rick Moore. He oversees the Professional Engineering, Land Surveys, and Geologists Board to create a wildfire public safety video. So that's out there. We learned yesterday that the governor, this government ops, the governor's office has created a video, and two of our staff, two of our special investigators appear in that video, Ubaldo Sanchez and Nora Urias. We've developed a press release. It's currently under review by Cal OES. We anticipate Wildfire press release going out no later than Wednesday of next week. On March 31st, we released a fast facts bulletin. It confirms the classifications that are authorized for form debris removal, along with the hazardous material removal certification requirement. And I guess that was pretty much what that focused on. We're going to update that. What we've done is we've surveyed contractors that have the appropriate classifications to see if they would like to be contacted for bids. We have that list. We're looking to make that available on the CSLB website under the Disaster Help Center page, but also making that list available to LA County officials. And we're going to emphasize in the revised bulletin the progress payment restrictions, which are so important, and the 40-hour HAZWOPER requirement. We anticipate the updated fast fact bulletin being released on or before April 16th. And I guess just the last thing, I just want to, really thank our outstanding budget manager, Stacy Paul. And I'm going to turn it over to Stacy with some good news as it relates to the expenses we've been incurring. Stacy.
Well, thank you, Dave. Yes, I've been working with collaboration with enforcement staff as well as Cal OES and capture all our costs at the disaster response center. And I'm happy to report that we've received $529,000 in general fund reimbursement. So this will go back to our budget to offset the costs that we've expended. I'm continuing to work with them on our cost as we still have presence there at the DRC. So I'll still seek to get additional reimbursement as we continue to be at the centers. Thank you.
Oh, I know. Thank you. Questions? Thank you, Register folks and Stacy. Is there any questions from board members, committee members? Any questions or comments? Seeing none, shaking heads of no. I would just say I appreciate all of the hard work staff is doing in regards to the fires. As everyone knows, we mentioned at our last board meeting, we took that tour, and the devastation of the fires has been insurmountable. So appreciate all the hard work staff is doing at the DRC. That too. Our staff there present is in the end, it's helping the informed public. So once that rebuilding after a disaster video goes out, it goes out sometime next week, please make sure that gets out to everybody on our listserv. That would be really appreciated. We really need to get that message out. So with that, I don't have any other comments. Is there any other public comment, Catherine?
Seeing none at this time.
Okay, I'll give one more last chance for any committee member comment. Miguel, go ahead.
Yeah, Register folk, in listening to your discussion at the fire-related issues regarding workplace comp, and I know that, we've been having some substantive discussions with the legislators on this issue. Is there going to be some grandfathering into regarding this very specific issue and the rampant abuse of independent contractor designations that are going on specifically in this fire related cleanup effort?
Yes, we can add that to our bulletin, to our fast facts. It's going to be reissued, the workers' compensation insurance requirement. If you're open to it, Miguel, we could run that by you. Take a look at the fast facts bulletin before it's reissued, make sure it covers everything that it should.
I would make that recommendation to the chair, and I'll see Joel as the committee member, as the chair of that committee. But that's something that is here and now, and clearly is abusing the system of not only EDD, workers, unemployment insurance. This is also tying into the workman's comp fraud. This is tying into withholding fraud. So there's multiple things that are going on here that is taking money away from the state of California and protecting the public, and quite frankly, protecting those employees who have no clue that they're having this type of exposure, especially if they don't have the proper training and are being told they're independent, and they're independently going into this arena with zero protection.
I think too, Miguel, obviously right after this meeting, we're gonna have our enforcement committee meeting, right? And that's a perfect topic for that specific meeting, because when we're talking about the various strategies with the SWIFT team, I know Steve is working on that too. But to your point, I agree with you. And today's point, the fun facts, or not fun facts. It is fun. It's facts.
I like the slow facts.
Yeah, the fact sheet that will be coming out on regarding the fires. We really need to make sure all of that is listed on, especially on independent contractors and workers' comp, the requirements for contractors. All of that needs to be listed within, so consumers are protected and they are aware of everything that is needed. So it's a yes and a yes there.
If I could, I agree, we should talk about that more at the enforcement committee, but Steve, do you want to really just confirm that you got EDD and the Jessup task force involved in this for that?
Yeah, that's correct. We are going out with EDD and Department of Insurance, but for this particular issue, the independent contractors, we consider them unlicensed contractors. So we address that right away. A licensed contractor can't just hire somebody and call them an independent contractor. If they're not licensed, they're both in violation. The licensee is in violation for hiring an unlicensed contractor, and the unlicensed contractor is also held accountable.
Does that answer your question of what staff is doing, Miguel, to combat the situation and taking your points?
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that, we're connecting the dots and we make sure that the hammer comes down appropriately.
Great, and I believe you're on the enforcement committee too, Miguel. I believe you should definitely put that again for comment when you have the full enforcement committee. And then Steve could ask that question at that point in time too. With that, is there any other board member comments for the executive committee? Seeing none, with that, I'd like a motion to adjourn the executive committee. Motion by Miguel, I think.
So moved, yes.
Second, no second needed. So with that, enforcement committee should be starting up right now with this adjournment. So appreciate everybody's time. Thank you. And then I'll turn it over to Enforcement Chair Kobos, who should be on here. So we'll have to do it. We'll do a little bit of rearranging, and thank you.
Can we get a 5-minute recess? The restroom has my name on it.
Sure. So Catherine, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You'll have to promote
yes.
Enforcement Chair Kobos and the other team members.
Yeah, I just promoted Jerry Hassan, who has members Rodney Kobos, Joel, and Jacob Lipless in the room.
Catherine, this is Diana. What is the next meeting I'm a part of?
Yeah, the next meeting you are on is the legislative committee, which will be as soon as this enforcement committee ends.
It's supposed to be at 10:30, right?
It's supposed to be at 10:30. It may be slightly after, depending on.
Gonna go away for a while.
Yes.
Of course.
All right.
Good shot. You can tell me.
I would say right next to pick my seat.
Yeah.
I was heading down. You told me. Yeah.
I'm done.
Are you done with this? So Joseph did join, or he's here?
Yeah, but he's not on enforcement, so he would be alleged.
How are you?